Okay, welcome back to the next tutorial in the series of basic functions. A bit more advanced techniques now in this particular tutorial, where we'll introduce the concept of absolute cell references, and we'll come to that in a second. So the task at the moment is we've got a school trip going ahead, which costs £780 up here in cell B1, and these are the payments of these students here, and they've been collected from January to July. So the first thing we need to do is add all those up like we've done in the last few. You should be getting used to this by now, where you just go up to the top. You can use the sum function. You can click on this, check that it's right. Okay, so we're adding up the row now. So we're adding up B4 to H4 there, and that looks right. And we can click the tick, and that's done there. So this particular student here has paid £550. As always, we can fill down, and it should have copied the formula for us. There you go, we were B4 to H4 in this row, and when we fill down, Excel adds 1. It's called relative cell reference, and it's got B5 to H5 in this particular one here. Okay, so next thing we need to do now is to work out the amount left to pay. So the cost of the trip is £780 up here, and this student's paid £550. So we need to take 550 away from 780, pretty straightforward maths. So I'm going to type this one this time. It's not a function, it's just a simple formula. So we're going to say equals 780, take away the 550. Remembering always using the cell references, not the actual number. So up here we've got B1 minus I4. Push enter or tick, and you can see that you've got £230 left to pay. And doing a bit of mental maths, I can see that that's correct. So as usual, we could go on here now and we could do a fill down. Okay, and let's see what happens. Right, so we've got something that's gone wrong here. We've got a problem. This person's paid 780, but it's saying the amount to pay is minus 780. This one says hashtag value, and we've got all these minus figures here. So something went wrong when I dragged that down. So what we need to do is going to have a look at the formula in here. So let's have a look at this formula that's been put in here. So it's saying B2 minus I5. So if we click up in here, it'll show us the cell. So what's happened when we drag down, we've gone to the next cell. We've gone from B1 to B2, and we've gone from I4 to I5. The problem here is B2 is an empty cell, so that's 0. So that's 0. Take away 780 is minus 780. And even worse in here, when we drag down, if we have a look at the formula in there, we've got B3 minus I6. So we've told it to do a formula that says Jan take away 780. And the computer can't take numbers away from letters. So the fill down has caused us a problem. So I'm going to delete this here. What we need is for B1 to stay there always. We don't want it to go to B2, B3, B4, B5, B6 when we drag it down. We always want it to stay on B1, which is called an absolute cell reference. So it always stays on there. And to do that, when you write the formula at the start, instead of writing B1, you have to write $B $1. Okay, $B $1. Okay, B1, but they got these dollar signs in front of them. Okay, that's just the syntax, is what that's called, that Excel uses to create an absolute cell reference. And then everything else is the same then. So it's still B1 minus I4, but we just stay on B1 by using the dollar sign. And now, with a bit of luck, when we drag down, here we go, we've got this year. So we've got 230 left for this student, 0, 0. So it's looking pretty accurate. 780, take away 780 is 0, 230. This one's overpaid. Look, 800 minus there, so minus 20. So they owe money there. So let's have another quick look at that again. Okay, just so we get that right. It's in the first one, because we want it to stay on this cell always, instead of writing B1, we write $B $1 minus there. Push enter or the tick, and we can drag down, and we've got all the answers there. Okay, so that's absolute cell references. So if you ever find when you do a drag down and all the numbers go awry or you get hashtag value, it's usually because you haven't used an absolute cell reference in the first one here before you drag down. So you can see as I'm clicking through up here, it's always saying B1. It doesn't add one to it. Over here then, we won't have these problems. Same again, we've got totals and averages. Should be able to do this from the stuff that we've done before. We've got the sum function up here where we can do this, enter, fill across. No need for absolute cell references in this. Okay, there. And, oh, okay, there's another problem here. We've got hashtags. All that ever means is the cell isn't wide enough to put the answer in. So you have to go up. We did this in the first tutorial that we did when you made your timetable. Up here we've got the average formula, so you go average, and it doesn't quite pick up the right cells, but as usual we can highlight the average payment there. This should say 250 because they all paid that. There we go, we can go across there, like that. Okay, and there you go. That's Task Force School Trip, where we've introduced the idea of absolute cell references. If you can use an absolute cell reference in your coursework, you will access the advanced mark scheme to get further up that grade scale. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.